Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yoshai Bashem, Arakah Kudash. Double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone of all well. But shalom to the hopeful elect. This is by your Allah. This is news and prophecy news update. The date today is the 22nd, I believe, of July 2025, the hopeful year. Sorry, the hopeful year of judgment, destruction, and deliverance. Or, yeah. So, an article here. One of many important things that's happening right now. You know, there's many prophecies that's springing forth at this point in time. But this, with along with the wearables spoke of by RFK Jr., basically speak to the point of how close this thing is. RFK gave a deadline as far as within the space of 4 years, by 2029. He wants everyone in the States wearing wearables, alright? Which the wearables is another pivotal step in progressing towards the CHIP, alright? So, that being said, I've got this article here from foxnews.com. Headline reads, Trump vows to make US crypto capital of the planet. Signs Genius Act into law. Alright, the House passed the Genius Act on Thursday by a 308 to 122 margin. So the main point in this is that he's saying he wants it to be the crypto capital of the world. Alright, that's a tall order, but that speaks, volumes as far as when we deal with biblical prophecy. America is known as Babylon the Great, alright? Mystery Babylon, alright? And the main duty or task of America, I can put it down to two things, is basically to destroy the children of Israel and bring the curses upon them by way of the northern kingdom, like Gad, Reuben, and Issachar, being destroyed before them, to basically make that land for the kingdom of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, to be taken over there and to be put into slavery. Now, these 100 or odd years later, for us to get out of here, alright, the word has been brought forth to basically gather a remnant, being the elect, for the time of salvation, alright, but also the time of, as the year is coined, judgment, right, death or destruction and deliverance, alright. So one of the key ways of bringing that about is by way of the beast system coming to its whole, or coming to a whole, should I say, in terms of right now people have fed into the image of the beast. America's greatest export is basically its culture, alright? Americanization of the world. People adhering to the image of the beast, taking on, the mindset as far as, love is love, women, women can have the same rights as men, fast food, all these different things that encapsulate the American culture, the American ideals, alright, that's basically been catapulted around the earth, and the people are there into the image of the beast, alright. Now, in order for America, alright, the beast system, to bring it all to a head, it has to implement the mark of the MOTB, alright, and that's where the crypto capital of the planet comes into effect, alright? Because basically in saying that, saying that what you're actually, what they're introducing, is fulfilling prophecy. Right, so let's get into it. So, read it. No,
Trump vows to make U.S. crypto capital of the planet, signs Genius Act into law. The House passed the Genius.
I'll read it, man. I'll lose my concentration. President Donald Trump signed into law the guiding and establishing of national innovation of U.S. stablecoins. All right, stablecoins being cryptocurrency basically, which will form the backbone as far as moving to the MOTB technology. All right. Act Friday, a landmark piece of legislation that establishes federal regulations surrounding digital currency. All right, which Trump is has been more than enthusiastic about, as far as when he's coming to taking up the helm as the president. All right, even when they, as soon as it was found out that Trump was president, November, December last year, basically all the prices of crypto just shot up. All right. Ahead of signing to the bill, Trump recalled how he previously vowed to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the planet. During a keynote address during a Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Tennessee, in July 2024, he said that regulations his administration would implement would be written by people who love your industry, not hate your industry. I pledged that we would bring back American liberty and leadership and make the United States the crypto capital of the world. Trump said Friday, and that's what we've done. And under the Trump administration, this is the one is the only going further. Is only going further. Excuse me. Stablecoins are a form of digital currency tied to a stable asset like gold or the US dollar, which is not a stable currency. All that stabilizes the US dollar is the fact that they're ready to war behind it, and they tied it to the petrodollar, which is one of the main uses of energy in the world. All right. But they have to basically go out there and fight tooth and nail to maintain it. This is why they're in warfare every 2 minutes, all right? Which aims to keep their prices more consistent. Just as I promised last year, the Genius Act creates a clear and simple regulatory framework to establish and unleash the immense promise of the dollar-backed stablecoin. Trump said Friday, this could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. And he's right in a sense where, well, I wouldn't say since the internet, but it's definitely up there, because really the MOTB will be a force to be reckoned with, because no one's going to be able to buy or sell unless you quit. But the steps that's being taken in order for the MOTB to be as groundbreaking and pivotal and crazy as it's gonna be is down to the fact that establishing things like this basically feeds into that energy. Included in the Genius Act are provisions requiring monthly public disclosure of reserve competition, as well as annual audited financial statements for issuers with more than $50 billion in market capitalization. According to the Senate Banking Committee, which spearheaded the legislation, the House passed the Genius Act Thursday by a 308 to 122 vote after the measure cleared the Senate in June by a 68 to 30 margin. For far too long, America's digital assets industry has been stifled by ambiguous rules, confusing enforcement, and the Biden administration's anti-crypto crusade. Majority Whip Tom Emmer, Republic, Minnesota, I believe it is. I don't know y'all states, y'all states. I don't know you lot states. Said during a press conference on Thursday, but President Trump and his Congress are correcting course and unleashing America's digital asset potential with historic transformative legislation. Despite the bipartisan and support from the host of Democrats, the legislation didn't pick up votes from all members of the president's party, right? So not everyone was with it. 12 Republicans voted against the measure, which has attracted scrutiny from lawmakers like House Financial Services Committee ranking member, Republican Maxine Waters, Democrat California, due to the conflict of interest concerns as Trump has promoted a digital currency called Trump, Dollar Trump. Yeah, like he fed into it. He's obviously capitalized off it, but I mean, he's going in the true American spirit, and him being a businessman before the president, he's gonna come with that angle, right? But really, with that being said, that really just shows you that hey, if you want to make some money as well, just jump on the wave. Follow what he ain't gonna let himself fuck up. And we see this all the time as far as concerning these politicians. They align themselves. You have individuals that lobby with politicians in their respective states or country as a whole, whether dealing with America, dealing with the UK, whether it be your community, around your what do you call it, your ward, um, your borough, the city that you live in, or the country as a whole. You lobby with certain politicians that basically hold the helm as far as it may be agriculture, it may be energy, it may be education. You give them money, you basically get behind them when they're basically going out there to you utilize your power, and then once it gets set in place, then you go in there and you say, "This is, I gave you this money. Now come through and do this." So that's why you have individuals. I know there's individuals in America. I know the only person that comes to mind, he ain't from America, is Tony Blair, because he lobbied his way into a very lucrative deal. I believe he was doing a lot of them. Even Obama was doing it. I know over here the guy that walked out, David, right, Cameron. They basically get paid to do speeches. Hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars or pounds to do it, and that's due to the networks they build and the infrastructure they set in place. So when they walk out of that job, they can walk into that same infrastructure and basically live off their investments. All right. So what Trump's doing ain't really nice that no presidents ain't done themselves. All right. What did you have with Hunter? I'm not even gonna bring it up because I vaguely remember. I haven't followed that because even had an interview recently, but I vaguely remember what that's about. So anyway, by passing this bill, Congress will be telling the world that Congress is okay with corruption, okay with foreign companies buying influence, and okay with criminals buying Trump coins to seek pardons and beneficial treatment. Waters said on the House floor Thursday. And the reality is, Trump is just going. Trump does what everyone does, all these politicians do, but in a more crude manner. All right. Whereas these other people do it. They do it with smooth words, smoother than oil, smoother than butter, and they basically, or softer than oil and smoother than butter, and they basically make waves in their industry via doing so. In addition, the Genius Act, the House passed two other measures related to cryptocurrency Thursday: Digital Asset Market Clarity Act to install some additional regulatory framework for digital assets, and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, which aims to stop the Federal Reserve from central bank digital currency directly to individuals and jeopardize their privacy. All right, but even with that framework being in place, um, this second one, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act, sounds like they're setting it up as to where something can happen whereby it brings more force into the necessity of the CBDC. All right, because it still gives a lot of leverage and space for these companies to deal within on the blockchain unsupervised. All right, but yeah, so that's a big deal. So I just wanted to look up this word genie or genius. All right, the etymology. When you go into it, let me go to etym online. So genius, it goes late 14th century tutelary. So tutelary, I looked this up before. Let me look it up again. Look up tutelary, serving as a protector, guardian, or patron, or moral spirit, who guides and governs an individual through life. All right. So that reminds me of a genie. All right, because the word genie, which you can see later when you go further down, is akin to the word genius. All right, and what do you do with a genie? You rub the lamp. The genie comes out, grants you 3 wishes, and is somewhat of a guide, a spiritual, guide or protector, granting you wishes, whatever. All right, but reading on it says because this thing is gonna govern you through life. It's gonna form as an infrastructure, as it said twice within the article, regulatory framework. All right, so this is set up as a guide leading to that MOTB. All right, guardian deity, from Latin genius, guardian deity or spirit, which watches over each person from birth. Spirit, incarnation, wit, talent, and this really just shows you this is a demonic energy. All right, what's being utilized is really actually a demonic energy. All right, it's spirit on the left hand side guiding you towards the MOTB. All right, and it's ain't to say if you own crypto that you're basically demonic, but it's the buying into the spirit of it all. All right, because there's a spirit and there's a certain pathway. It's like money. All right, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not having money is the root of it, but the love of it. It's the same with this crypto. If you have a certain affection, a certain love towards it, it's gonna perpetuate you down a path that's only gonna lead to the MOTB. All right. One thing I've always said, which they may do, they may not. I'm just speaking as a man in my own personal opinion. They may incentivize cryptocurrency conversion rates, or even as what do you call it, amnesty, as far as you're allowed to transfer your funds from these cryptocurrencies into CBDC, for a rate, or just as long as you buy CBDC. So that can allow you to, you might have taken that money from pushing drugs or doing certain things on the dark web, whatever it may be. But now they've incentivized you to go clean, to basically clean up your act and be part of the system. Who knows? All right. These are all different things that can happen. So it says, spirit which watches over every person from birth, spirit, incarnation, wit, talent, also prophetic skill. All right. The male spirit of a genes, originally generative power, an inborn nature. All right, gene. Okay, so yeah. So obviously it also goes into, trapping that understanding. But that's the point. Alright, so let's read the scripture. We really know what the scripture is. So this is Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Alright, but the point being is that these these elites basically they speak, with a forked tongue. Alright, they have a hidden agenda, and they're basically utilizing that agenda. Alright, accordingly. I could have actually read this one. It'd be better actually. Let me read this. It's Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at them and fear not. Alright, and this is why it says in the scriptures, well, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great, because this, if you're not careful, it reminds me of the KRS-One song, love is gonna get you. Basically, you might, invest in something. This is why you gotta be very, and I always think about it, because anytime something's happen, there's a catalyst as far as a moment where it leads you down a pathway. And obviously, it works the same way, left hand side, right hand side, it works in both ways. The small thing will become great, all right? But it behooves you always for that small thing that becomes great to be a form of righteousness, all right? So it's the same with, these people that buy into the system. They're feeding into these small things, they buy into it slowly and slowly, and next thing you know, they're going to have a C-hip in their hand, all right? So it says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. All right? And this is cold because the infrastructure, the Internet of Things is progressing into the Internet of Persons. So progressively you're seeing, your phone. Like even now they're speaking about the Ring camera and upgrading it to Ring drones that circle your house. And if someone was to burgle you, they'll be followed home by that drone. So you can see that this thing is steadily, you know, um, heading towards the threshold as far as bringing about this death and destruction upon the earth. All right, it's further implementing this beast system whereby this man can judge you to the point of real time, and then to the perceived notion of, pre-crimes. I don't know if pre-crimes the right word, but basically before anything happens, he can call your number and say, look, we could have this algorithm, this AI technology, eagle eye that's basically, worked out that you're gonna do this, or the minority report, and be able to, work out who's gonna go do this and do that. All right, but it really just shows you the beast system. But that's really it, man. I'll close on that. All the scriptures as far as concerning the beast system. And this is where it's headed to, a stable coin, Genius Act being put into effect. So with that, Shalom.